Hello all from Scotland. Blessings to you and all that's dear to you. Hello fellow synchronists, fellow anthroposophists. I thought I'd give a quick rundown on some of the things that was occurring. Over the weekend I had a synchronicity with a topic, so I will run into some witchcraft before we close today's session. A couple of interesting titles out there. There was one speaking about the US escalation of the currency war, slamming Russia with sanctions. Interesting to see the same China tactic being reused. We've also got a heads up on warnings of signs of danger of stock crash, and this is because of insider trading. Another interesting events unfolding, superinflation just around the corner. Farsight, they have released their recent trailer regarding the Nazis, the reptilians in Antarctica, which is more interesting psyops underway. Dane Wigington, he released a fantastic episode this week, and I would thoroughly recommend listening to Geoengineering. If you just go to the Dane Wigington, and I'll put the link in the description. That one. Did you hear about the guy that collapsed while in the Senate House? He was 70 years old, just walking in, and middle of his speech started slurring and then collapsed at the table. Really, really fun times. So the drama stage is well underway. Let me head on over to my desktop and I will show you what I found this weekend. So at one point I saw a discussion about the revelations, and someone was putting new words in new places. So I was very intrigued by the conversation itself. And I thought to myself, this would make a fantastic short podcast. And the word that was being changed was sorcerers to pharmacia or something like this. It was an old word for a new word. It was quite interesting. So in the Bible, I found many parts speaking about sorcery, witchcraft, and sorcerers. And I thought this one was really interesting. Acts 8:9. But there was a certain man called Simon, which before time in the same city used sorcery, and bewitched the people of Samaria, giving out himself was someone great. I want to just convert that. I mean, I'm not criticising people for changing words, but change it into your lay terms. This guy bewitched everybody to make himself seem great. How many of you know of fake idols and television on their television box, their witch box, doing all this witchcraft to you? So let's tap into what is witchcraft in the sense that the Bible defines witchcraft for us. The one that I liked the most was in the bottom here in the Galatians 5:20. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, violence, immolations, wrath, strife, sedition. It's right there. And then if we go back here a little bit, for the rebellions is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is an inequality of an idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of truth, he has also rejected thee from the King of truth. And then in the King's passage here, and it came to pass, when Jerome was, and he said, it is peace. And Jeru says, and he answered, what peace? So long as the whoredom of thy mother of Jezebel and her witchcraft are so many. And that's in those days. Do you think the days have changed? Or do you think it's got easier for the witches or the witchcraft, the sorcery? Or do you think it's more ludery, the elusive of it, hidden in plain sight more? Chronicles, and he caused his children to pass through the fire of the valley of the sons. Also he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with familiar spirits, and which wizards he wrong with evil in the sight of the truth to provoke him to anger. And let's just give it to you. He wrote much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And even in Malachi, And I cut off witches, witchcraft, out of thine hand, and thou shalt no more soothsayers. Really, really interesting passages here. I'll put the links in the description if you want. Continuing with the sorceries now. This weekend when I saw the comment, it was actually altering the Revelations part, and the alteration I saw, which was interesting, don't get me wrong, like, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all of thee. For thine merchants were the great men of the earth, and by thy sorcerers were all nations to see. And that one word, sorcerers, at the bottom there, clearly looking at the Bible and clearly listening to the definitions of it all, it implies that sorcery is the illusion of your mind. So providing enchantments, encouraging you to betray another, causing a manipulation of your true self, of your true connection to spirituality. It is the truth of manipulation. And I would go as far as to say anything nowadays is all in witchcraft. You've got the alchemy, you've got the pharmaceutical, you've got the fuel for your car, all of these things. So I kind of left off on a short ending there for sorcery and witchcraft and stuff, but I had a lot more to share on there. Just looking through in our history of certain individuals, you actually find out that there's been a lot of people who's recorded in his story that were always trying to portray themselves as a good person, but really they weren't. And if we delve deep into what I shared here on screen earlier, I think it was the Acts or something, there was actually a passage in the Bible that said, there was this guy who bewitched Simon, or Simon was bewitched, and they made him out to look like a good guy when, and if we look back in history in our times, you can look, for an example, the snake oil sales guy, the guy that invented cancer. He went round with the cure, which was snake oil killing people, and he's going, no, it wasn't the stuff I gave them, it was the actual disease that killed them, And then once he had made all his wealth, people had hated him, so he had some giving out his money, everything he made in wealth, to make himself to be a good guy. But yet the Rockefellers are loved, and nobody even looks at what the Rockefellers do now, let alone did then. That's bewitched. That is sorcery. It's in the Bible. It's right in plain sight. And I mean, if you continue into the now times, just using the same scenario, you get this IT technician who didn't even invent something, he actually stole it from someone else, then said he did it. Bewitched, right? Then he turns around and says, well, tell you what, now I've got all this money, which is invisible money, printed out of thin air, which we all know. And he then goes on and starts selling vaccines and all of that. He's giving out money to people that wants to make vaccines. Meanwhile, the president of that country turns around and takes off all liabilities, legal liabilities for these industries. Sorcery! Are you seeing it yet? Are you that blind? Are you stuck in Hosea 4:6, walking in the ditch with these blind people playing these games? It's all sorcery. There's nothing in your realm that's real and truthful. The only thing that's real is the Word of God, the faith. And just remember, you came from dust. You're going to go back to dust. So everything in dust is not real. It's part of the sorcery, part of the game. The only thing, and I said it in many podcasts ago, the only thing that really, really is yours, mine, is the memories and the profound moments in this experience. Because the only thing that's real is an experience. Everything else, all dust. It's made from clay. The guy spat on mud and made it clay. Or clay. We're clay. It's all clay. It's all going to go back to where it came from. Anyway, listen, I don't want to ramble too much about this topic, but the power of the sorcery has gone to the stage where it's now your media machine. It's now anything you think is real. And let me give you an example, right? Anything that we think is real, right? So for 100 years, scientists have been searching for a germ. So much so that companies started making chemicals to clean germs away. But yet, the scientists are still writing documents saying germ theory. So for over 100 years, germ theory has existed. Theory. Same as Einstein. It's all a theory. This theory that exists, it never had wings. they built an industry of chemicals which said it wouldn't have wings. Now COVID-19 comes along, 2020, the year. All of a sudden, the germ theory's in the bin because the COVID made germs grow wings. So now it flies. And everybody believes it. Which part of witchcraft are you not seeing? Are you seeing the wizards with the magic hand? Are you even seeing the show? Because I'll tell you, the world stage show has been spectacular for the last couple of years. Hey, all the occultists, all the occult, and for you Freemason people out there, you know that 2020 was your 303rd anniversary of your witchcraft. Continuing, that's why the Albert Pike statue is still up. More sorcery? Do you want more? Do you need to turn on the Bewitched program? Watch the lady twitch her nose? Do we really need it to be so obvious? Or are you just watching the blind in the ditch, leading the blind? But if you delve deep into Hollywood, and if you look at what the witches were doing with the holy stuff, or holy species plants, you actually find the remnants that their magic boxes were coming. And there's old witch stories that witches used to take the holly branches and make them into magic boxes and all this kind of thing. But really, some of the actual plant species, there's components in it that make you off your head see manifestations of things, and that was why they used to make the holy berries and holy stuff. But tapping into this, now I'm going to read you something like, there are over 400 species of the holly, including both evergreen and delicious species of trees, scrubs, and climbing vines. In Christian thorn, it is broadly leaved evergreen trees is native from Europe. This is variants whose waxy leaves are bright berries and used extensively in winter for holiday decorations. Most of the information, skipping a line here, Romans, this is a history from Falkirk. Romans sent the holly as a gift to friends during the festival, a custom which the Christians adopted despite controversies. Those wonderful periods, and an edict of the church once forbid Christians to decorate their homes with the holy branch because of its original to the pagan practice. And wait for this one. In Britain, people decorate their homes with witchcraft, holy, in the winter to invite the witchcraft spirit to shelter there. Oh, how lovely. But wait for this one. The church changed their mind halfway through history because one legend says that the holy first sprang from the footsteps of Jesus Christ, which its thorns and red berries represents his suffering and blood. So 1 minute it's pagan, next minute. Okay, now here's another one. In the neo-pagan lore, the Holy King rules the dark half of the year, from the autumn to the spring equinox, being strongest at midwinter, while his counterpart, is the Oak King. Can you see how they keep twisting stuff? I love this. So witchcraft is really, really cool. It's right. Magical attributes. In traditional English folklore, holy leaves without the pricklies are masculine in nature, called he holy, and the more usually prickly are the feminine. So she holy. Holy is associated with Saturn by St. Nicholas and the Mars of the element of fire, according to the source. Holy can be used in consistence with spells for material gains, physical revenge, beauty, protection, especially against lightning, luck, and dream magic. There's your witchcraft. Holy can also be utilised in any ritual relating to death and rebirth and seasonal mysteries, because holy burns very hot. It is a substance for any fire festival. Oh, yippee. Holy wood, oh, that's Hollywood, right? Holy wood makes very good wands, which can be used in banishing unwanted entities and commonly invoking spirits. Holy plants near a home is said to repel poison and protect from witchcraft and lightning. The wood has power to tame animals and flowers to freeze water. Herb water made with holy has protective properties. Seeing it? Here's another one. Healing attributes. Holly is not commonly used by modern herbists. The fresh berries and poisonous are very cause violent vomiting if ingested. The dried powder berries can be used as a stiptis. Interesting. The leaves contain pheromones which are weak, effecting on the kidneys, and a standard strength infusing can be used to help break fever. I can put a link and you can read this for yourselves if you want. I shall leave that. But that's the Witchcraft Wikipedia, which I'm not sure if you've been noticing lately, is highly promoted on television. I suppose television really is, though. Holy stick of the witch, anyway. The etymology dictionary also gives a nice definition for the witch. Old English, female magician, sorcerers. In latter use, especially a woman supposed to have dealings with the devil or evil spirits, and to be able by their cooperation to perform supernatural acts. Femme of English was the sorcerer, a wizard, a man who practiced witchcraft or magic. Magic? From verb to practice witchcraft. However, Low German Wiccan, to used witchcraft, a wicker, a soothsayer. Is it all interesting stuff? Are you starting to see behind the Maya? Are you seeing people actually manipulating the Maya for their own gains? Like I mentioned in the earlier side of the video, people that make themselves look good when really they're not. Isn't that like magician? Well, guys, I want to leave you with a lovely message and wish you all the best for the coming week. God bless you and all that's dear to you. Blessings from Scotland. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in with me on All for Synchronicity. God bless you guys.